Uh, Good evening, everyone, and or morning, or whenever you're watching. Welcome to this week's edition of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. I am Mad Matt Carter, being joined by Hall of Famers Brian and Reagan Danzig. Rick Diesel is not with us right now, although he may be in right now. Rick Diesel is at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Source of many a pain in the ass and headache for me. Although they do the best they can with what they got to work with, but they're trying to expand that airport, and now there's a thunderstorm. So I have a feeling Rick Diesel's flight is going to be delayed even further. He said it's been delayed already 4 times today. We'll have to find. Yeah, we're gonna have to find out what carrier he's using and promptly not use them moving forward. It's an American hub down here, and I know American offers direct service from here to Las Vegas, so it's probably American, but I hope not. But there's a huge thunderstorm. And hey, Zoom user, I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to let you. Well, it's probably Rick Diesel. Let's go ahead and try. Let's see what happens. If it's,
I'll throw up the X real quick.
If it's somebody undesirable, I will remove them. But
unless it's the guy with the snake, we can interview him.
All right. Oh, it's Kevin Stryker.
Kevin.
Oh, okay. All right. So. But Rick Diesel is probably going to get delayed again, because when I was coming back from the Philippines, I got delayed in that airport for 4 hours because of a thunderstorm, because they can't load bags on and off the planes, because you have to do that by hand. It's not automated. I mean, all the sorting and stuff is done inside is automated, but you actually still have to have real humans to load the bags on the planes. And you can't have people out on the tarmac during a lightning storm standing next to a bunch of giant metal rods. So, because that's basically what an airplane is, a cigar tube, metal cigar tube with wings. So anyway, welcome, Kevin Stryker. Good to have you with us. We've got a lot to go over this week, so I guess I'm going to jump right into it. Did anybody watch the All In show from London today?
I did not, but I got updates from my friend Annie, who was watching it.
Yeah, okay. And what she
said that they beat a world record of paid attendance.
Yeah.
So they blew the WWE away with paid attendance, because I know that sometimes they'll inflate their attendance with like comps and rich people and all that stuff. But this was paid attendance. People who actually bought tickets.
Yeah, the controversy for years on that attendance statistic, and I'm glad you brought that up, because there's going to be a lot of people. I have a feeling tonight and tomorrow Twitter are going to go crazy with people arguing about it. But at WrestleMania 3, which was held in the old Pontiac Silverdome outside Detroit, for Hulk and Andre in 1987, they listed the attendance at 93,173. That actually went into the Guinness Book of World Records, I think. But over the years, it's been disputed that it was more like 78,000. So if that's the case, then this would put it over, because they had Tony. I was just watching a press conference before we started. He was saying that they were, if he's to be believed, and I say that because wrestling promoters over the years have had a smidge of a tendency to inflate attendance numbers, like Reagan was saying. So we'll see. I mean, it'll all come out in the wash eventually, but 81,000, man, for a startup company, AEW, 4 years old. And like when they put crap on, I will say it, but man, you got to give them credit, because they are even having trouble drawing here in the US, but 81,000 paid is nothing short of a small miracle at this day and age,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yeah.
And she said it was really good because they didn't have any talking, no promos, no doing promos for the sponsors. Like, it was just pure wrestling.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. Yeah, I think you're going to see that go away even more for WWE on their premium live events on Peacock, because if you're a Peacock Premium Plus member, which is the $10 a month level, they don't show you like ads in between the matches, but they will show you some sort of vignette while the ads are running. But still, if they have a match, like, all right, this women's title match is sponsored by Taco Bell, you're going to get that read and a promo regardless. So that's kind of good to hear that they did it without ads. So maybe a lost art. But anyway, all right. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Hang on a second. Messed up the controls. All right.
Okay, be messing up the show, Matt.
Hey man, it's hard to host and produce all together. It's get through it sometime. All right. So you should be able to see the slideshow now.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's get going. This is AIWF Ringside Wrestling for August 27th, 2023. And of course, we are on Instagram. You can search AIWF Mid-Atlantic Wrestling and Diesel 247. That's Diesel DEEZEL 247 for all your great information there, as well as you can follow me on what used to be Twitter. It's called X now, but you can still, if you type in Twitter to your URL, it still takes you to the same place. Add Mad Matt at Mad Matt Concord. Is the AIWF underscore mid account hadn't been doing much lately. That's why I hadn't put it.
But once I started producing, it got hard to. I'm gonna try to at least start putting up the cards again. It's just things were a little chaotic once I took over the running like of the cameras and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So once it gets up and running again, at least with the posters and everything, we can put it up. But I was thinking about that today. So
couple of notes on that. I would have to just say, what a great job. Let's go ahead and do it in public. I'm not one to pump sunshine up somebody's ass to inflate their ego, but when the production has just greatly improved, if you look at Mid-Atlantic episode 400 and compare it to what's out there on the Roku and on YouTube now, it's improved so much just recently.
Yeah.
With the lower third, the sound is better, the camera switching is better. It's just all around gotten much, much better. And so Reagan's been a big part of that. So if you enjoy watching the playbacks on YouTube and Roku, hey, next time you see Reagan, say thanks.
yeah, just it's still a learning process and things. So I'm still learning the ins and outs of it, and there's some issues every once in a while. Sometimes my fingers get crazy, and then sometimes in a match it'll say 5 different names for the person coming out. But
I only saw that once, and it was quick.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it happened again for the big show. So, yeah, I had some issues with the deal with the steel show and stuff. But it's when you're running it, I think what people don't realize is all the camera switching and everything isn't in the editing. The camera switching and all those things and the lower thirds and anything like that. I'm doing that as the show is going.
Yes, you have to do that stuff live.
Yeah, this is not post-production. This is being, edit. I don't know how you say it.
Yeah, edited live.
Edited live, so all that stuff is happening in the moment. And so, sometimes you're gonna have little missteps, but yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like whenever you're watching wrestling on TV and stuff like that, you got all the different angles switching back and forth between all the production cameras and stuff like that. It's still trial and error. We might not have the greatest of equipment starting out, but it's damn good for what we got going on now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, but it's getting better, and I enjoy every single minute of watching it.
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, it looks great. And although we had a bad thunderstorm here earlier in the week, got one going on right now, but we had one here earlier this week that knocked the power off a couple of times, and it wiped I don't know what it did to my poor computer here, but it wiped all my passwords off and all this kind of stuff. So we are having technical difficulties getting Mid-Atlantic episode 235, I think, up on the YouTube channel. Probably going to be, it was going to go up tonight, but because of our technical difficulties, probably going to be Wednesday, Thursday before it goes up. And so apologies for that. And I also need to apologize for my appearance at the last TV taping. My God, I did the episode of 237 aired on the Roku channel, and the interview that Brian gave at the end of that show that made your blood run cold and made me honestly believe Ty Tyson had a good chance of dying at Deal with the Steel. I was standing there holding the stick, and buddy, I looked like I had just gotten off a 24-hour airplane flight and was sick. So I'll try to do better, wrestling fans. I'm sorry about that, but I look quite disheveled, and I do apologize for that. All right, the women's world championship bracket is still being hashed out. We know Clara is going to take on somebody in the East region. That match, as my understanding, is going to take place in Mount Airy. We just do not know who her opponent is going to be. And the rumor is the West region match is going to take place in Kansas City. So don't know where the final will be. I don't think it's going to be in Mount Airy or Kansas City. I think it's going to be at a different location. So
I've heard the flirtation of West Virginia somewhere, maybe. I'm not sure, but I've heard that mentioned.
Yeah, that rumor is floating around.
Yeah, the negotiations are still going on, but between different affiliates wanting to host the finals of the women's world title match. So yeah, there's a couple of promotions in West Virginia. There's a couple in South Carolina and in Virginia who are vying for the finals match to take place at their promotion. So they're still trying to hash that out.
Yeah, definitely be interested. I would be interested. If it's not too far of a drive, I'd definitely be interested in attending that. But as we find out more information about this tournament, we will let you know and pass it on. Okay, up next for us, that's next Saturday, September 2nd, Labor Day weekend. We're going to do our live Roku channel taping for Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Don't know how many episodes. Do we have any idea how many episodes we're planning on shooting that night? Or
I think what we've decided is that we're going to do 3 instead of 4.
Okay, good.
Because when we were doing 4, it was going a little long.
Yeah.
So I think right now we're all looking at 3, but trying to think, we don't have like matches yet, but well, we have some, but yeah, it's probably gonna look about 3 episodes.
Yeah, awesome. So bring your signs. Anything else? Reagan, you produced this show. I mean, is there anything else that you want to tell the fans that make sure they do or bring? Or
well, I said definitely bring your signs. I'll do my best. You know, if you bring a sign, I'm gonna try to get you in the sign on it. Just come and be ready to be loud and obnoxious and cheer for the good guys and boo the bad guys, or cheer for the bad guys and boo the good guys. We don't really care as long as you interact.
yeah, exactly. Remember, the louder you scream and yell, the harder they fight. And remember, folks, when you see TV taping, if you're our age or a little bit older, don't worry. This is not like when Crockett Promotions did a national TV taping. You're not going to come down there and see a bunch of squash matches. And maybe one competitive match at the end of the night. No, we're going to have good matches for you. I mean, the days of the 2 minutes, they still happen. Squash matches do from time to time, but I don't think they're ever intentionally set up like that. Like,
right.
Okay. Dusty Rhodes, we got Jerry here from the night shift at 7-Eleven, and he's going to go up against you and our TV match.
Oh yeah, we don't have Ronnie Garvin squash matches and AIWF. We don't get a enhancement talent out there and stomp them and punch them to death.
Yeah. Oh, mercy. All right. So, all right, we got to do this part of the show. We have to. It's unavoidable. But let's get into it, because it's been a rough week for people passing on in wrestling. Well, let's start out with Rich Landrum. For those of you who don't know, excuse me. For those of you who don't know, Rich Landrum was, and this is what I've learned just today. I met the guy one time, super guy, really nice. was a Richmond native who worked in the radio up there. According to Mid-Atlantic Gateway, he passed away on or about August the 13th or 14th. He was 77 years old. He's best known for hosting Jim Crockett Promotions Worldwide Wrestling, the syndicated show from October 1978 until early 1982. Long time. This is off the Mid-Atlantic Gateway Studio Wrestling site, studiowrestling.blogspot.com, so I can give them the credit for it. Longtime Richmond, Virginia fans will also remember Rich as the ring announcer in Richmond throughout the 70s and early 80s, introducing matches at the Richmond Fairgrounds at Strawberry Hill, the old Richmond Arena, and at the Richmond Coliseum. His broadcasting career began in local radio and television in Richmond. He got his break in wrestling when attending matches at Strawberry Hill in 1971 with family and friends, and the regular ring announcer did not show up. Promoter Joe Murnick asked him to fill in that night. Murnick liked him and began using him as a regular announcer from that point forward. He replaced Truckin' Tom Miller as the host of Worldwide Wrestling in October of 1978. And from the stories I've heard, Truckin' Tom was, and he was the famous ring announcer from Greensboro, Truckin' Tom was a radio personality here in Charlotte, and but he'd like to hit the bottle a little bit. And the way David Crockett tells the story was that that Truckin' Tom was just in no shape to host the show that day, and Rich happened to be there, and that was that. So Landrum became the new host. After moving TV production from WRAL in Raleigh to WPCQ in Charlotte in the late summer of 1981, and for any of you TV nerds, WPCQ in Charlotte is now WCNC, channel 36 over the air, channel 6 on cable, the NBC affiliate. I don't think anybody cares about that type of shit except me, but anyway, there it is. JCP balked at the ongoing expense of flying Landrum in from his home base of Richmond, Virginia every week and asked him to begin driving it. Rich was unhappy with that arrangement, which led to his eventual departure from the company in the early months of 1982. David Crockett assumed host duties of the show at that point, eventually joined by Tony Schiavone in 1984. Little known fact, Rich Landrum actually came and worked with the AIWF Mid-Atlantic back in 2011 for a little while.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yes, he did. I was like on a couple of shows with him, and if I can find it, I've got it here somewhere. I will show you that he did a segment with Chuck King that we have on our YouTube channel that you can watch by visiting AIWF Ringside Wrestling on YouTube. Now I'm just going to show the clip because the sound isn't that great. Can you guys see the YouTube thing?
Mhm, yes.
Yeah.
All right. And so if it will expand, there we go. And so you can see Chuck King. There's Rich. So, yep, there was Rich in 2011 working with us.
Oh, I remember him now. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And watch this now. Chuck King's going to, he takes the microphone away from the announcer. Like, that's what we're paying Rich to do, is hold the microphone, dude. And it's so awkward. Like, he's talking to, and so I love to tease Chuck a little bit about, because when it happened that night, I remember I think I was filming this and my skin was crawling so much that I was like standing there like, oh, don't do that. But yeah, so that's when Rich was here with us in the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. What was weird was I think Rich was so accustomed to doing studio wrestling that like he wasn't used to the noise of the music and the live crowd and how much you have to speak up when you're in a big open room like the Mount Airy Armory, and he was doing his regular talking in studio voice and you could barely hear him, and so it was just, I think he was out of his element, but he was a great guy. I really enjoyed having him around, and he was telling me so many stories about back in the late 70s and early 80s and all that kind of stuff. So, we're very sad that we lost Rich. He was a good dude. Any of y'all got any thoughts or memories you would like to share about Rich Landrum?
Not really. Like, yeah, I think I had done like one show. I'd, come back to do, maybe a Legends match, and he was there, and I didn't really meet him, but yeah, just from my, just small interactions with him, he seemed like a really nice guy.
I didn't start watching wrestling till 86. So Rich was gone by the time I started watching. But just for a little bit of reference here, on the far left of the screen, that's him with Johnny Weaver. Looks like that was taken in the WRAL studios. That's him with Ricky Steamboat when Steamboat was the U.S. champion in 1978 at the top middle. Far right is an interview with him a little more recently. And then bottom middle, that's him with Blackjack Mulligan. And bottom right was a very interesting picture. That's him interviewing Paul Orndorff and Jimmy Superfly Snuka when they were Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions in like 78 or 79. I've never seen a picture of Jimmy Snuka with short hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I picked that for this slide. It's just, I'd never seen that before. So very interesting. At least I thought it was.
It is.
All right. Next up on our sad news, Abe Jacobs. Now, you got to be kind of old timey to remember Abe Jacobs, because Abe Jacobs wrestled in the Mid-Atlantic. Oh, mercy. I got to get his info back up here. I want to say in the 50s, maybe.
I was getting ready to say probably back in the 50s and 60s, as I think I remember my dad actually watching him wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was known as the oldest living professional wrestler in the world. He lived here in Charlotte. Born Abner Robert Jacobs on June 18th, 1928. This is from the Post and Courier. Don't know what town that's out of. Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, so it's Mid-Atlantic town. The New Zealander prided himself in keeping in tip-top shape during his wrestling career that spanned nearly 40 years. In his prime, he stood 6'2" and weighed 240. Let's see. I want to say, yeah, he doesn't really say. Jacobs got his first big break in 1958 when the New Zealand Wrestling Union gave him a start as a professional in his own country. Yeah. Doesn't say exactly when he came to Crockett Promotion, but it does list here that he wrestled in front of 36,000 fans at Chicago's Kaminsky Park in 1961.
Oh, wow.
He once wrestled Lou Thez to a 1-hour draw.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And he could go then.
Yeah, no kidding. Jacobs made his biggest impact in the Carolinas, falling in love with the area and eventually buying property and setting up its home base that lasted long beyond his ring retirement in 1983. With Jim Crockett's Carolinas, Virginia territory serving as a hotbed of tag team wrestling during the 60s, Jacobs formed formidable combos with the likes of Sandy Scott, George Becker, Nelson Royal, and Luther Lindsay. And if you've know anything about Carolinas wrestling, those are pretty heavy hitters back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
Dubbed Honest Abe Jacobs, was well liked and respected by his peers. Let's see, partners. Another late Rip Hawk was a frequent opponent. Once billed as the Jewish heavyweight champion, Jacobs was named one of the top 10 New Zealand-born wrestlers by Fight Times magazine. He was inducted into the George Tragos Lou Thez Hall of Fame in 2008. His status in the Chatham Islands, that's where he was from in New Zealand, was celebrated when his likeness graced its commemorative special edition Millennium $10 bill in 2000 and 2001. Now, how many pro wrestlers you know that ever got put on currency?
I like to see Dusty Rhodes on a 10.
That'd be pretty cool.
Hey, Ted DiBiase was on $1 million bills, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Too bad those don't circulate there.
I was trying to find I found an article earlier that kind of got into his Crockett time more deeply. But yeah, he was the oldest wrestler in the world, and Abe Jacobs passed away at 95. So yeah, I thought we would mention that because it kind of went quietly with all the other news that's happened this week with the wrestlers passing, and I didn't want to leave anybody out, especially somebody, I mean, part of the allure of moving to this area from, Martinsville, Virginia, other than the fact you can't find a fucking job up there no more, was the deep wrestling history here. And I have learned more about the history of professional wrestling and like Crockett Promotions since I moved here in 2014 than I knew my entire life. Like, my wrestling knowledge is quadrupled with historical stuff since I've been down here. And I just always want to take care, and anybody that, was a significant part of Crockett Promotions, I always want to try to mention them whenever we can. Because a lot of these guys, that wrestled in the 50s and 60s before television became prevalent. I mean, they had television, but it was in WBTV studios, and it was shown once a week for an hour and helped promote the live events. But I don't think they were keeping the films or any, what I mean? Like in the 50s and 60s, I don't know if they had the ability to even record stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, like, because when you come across, like, it's really hard if you're searching out those old videos. Like, a lot of times it's like big shows, like that you'll see like clips of, or like, stuff like that. But yeah, you very rarely like come across like the studio wrestling, I would say before 75, maybe you'll get some early in that, but it seems like a lot of them start around that time.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff from Florida from the mid 70s with Gordon Soley.
Yeah,
but like even TV shows, there are lost episodes of several classic TV shows because TV studios just taped over them. They would use the tapes over and over again. There are Doctor Who episodes that are just lost to time because the episodes were recorded over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but people out there, when you say, well, of course they had the ability to record stuff. How did they, get the shows out and like out of Hollywood and broadcast them, because they didn't, when they were doing like I Love Lucy or whatever. Yeah, that was taped. I get that. Hollywood was doing that because they were networks and they had to provide programming for all their affiliates across the country. So yes, but a local TV station, it was hard enough to produce a live in studio wrestling event, much less bear the expense of, even if you had a device that you could record it on before what we know as VCRs and VTRs that came along in the 70s, was it worth it to you? I would think not,
right.
Just get it out on the air.
Yeah, they weren't thinking about preserving it for history. They were just thinking about entertaining the people at the time.
And they probably didn't have the space to keep all the reels. I mean, because when you think about it, movies, when they were, to actual film, that's huge canisters that have to be stored. And, I'm sure a place like WRAL at the time didn't have that kind of storage facility and stuff. So, yeah.
And and you talked about film, everything's digital now, and thank God, because you don't have to build the films and put them on the platter and run them through the projector anymore. You just plug it in, log in and password, and bang, there you go. That's been a welcome change. But I know when I was working at Hollywood Cinema, before we went digital, we were still getting films in the reels, and a normal like 2.5 hour film is 5 or 6 reels that you then had to build onto a platter. So, and it would, like Reagan said, it would come in these canisters that were like this, I can't even fit it in the screen. They're like this tall, about this long. So you think about that, space was definitely probably an issue. So they were probably just glad just to get it out on the air so that people will see it. All right, ready to move on to the next one. Here's one that more younger people will be familiar with, as Terry Funk passed away this week. Funk had been, I don't know if you guys follow it closely enough, and I know Terry had been in poor health for the last couple of years. But still his mind was good, and people were still going to see him a lot and everything and check on him. But Terry Funk, good God, what a career. I mean, him and his brother inherited their father's wrestling promotion when he passed away at a young age, his brother Dory. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, they went everywhere and did everything. I mean, Terry worked in every regional promotion in the United States, bar none, including WWE. Twice he had 2 runs up there.
Ugh, I don't like to talk about that one though.
Which one, the 80s or the Chainsaw Charlie?
The Chainsaw Charlie. Well, that was terrible. That was a terrible thing to do to such a legend. But I could go on forever about that. So
Jim Cornette told the story on his podcast today. I think it might make you feel better about that situation. He had a friend that I can't remember what sport it was. He may have been a football player down in Texas or something, but he was stricken with cancer back in the 80s, right? And Terry did a lot of fundraisers with the Southwest promotion to raise money to help him fight cancer. And Terry's nickname for him was Chainsaw Charlie. And so when Terry went to the WWE and they pitched the creative to him, he thought, I don't know if I want the name Terry Funk associated with this. So why don't we do this? And so Terry actually came up with the name Chainsaw Charlie because, as Cornette said, he wasn't sure about the creative and he didn't want to get any on him. So
and if you watched, I mean, it was
a good call.
It was a good call on his part.
Well, what was funny is Jim Cornette said that he told Kevin Dunn. He was like, man, he's like, people are going to know this is Terry Funk. Even if you do put the sock or hose on his head and smush his face up, they're going to know by the way he moves, it's Terry Funk. The wrestling fans will. He's like, oh, no, they won't know. This is a different audience these days. They won't know who he is. And Cornette said,
oh, my God.
So he debuted Madison Square Garden. And as soon as he came out of the box on Raw with the chainsaw, they're like, oh, it's Chainsaw Charlie. Cornette said, within a few seconds, you hear the garden people in the garden chanting, Terry, Terry, Terry.
Well, the thing about Terry Funk is a lot of people want to focus on his hardcore, which was fantastic, but he ran my favorite Ric Flair. I don't know, what do you say? What's the word? Him and Ric Flair, was it early WC or late NWA? Anyway,
89.
It was when, and he gave first of all, the match was great, but he gave this promo, and I was trying to find it right when he passed away, and I cannot find it. He goes into this thing about how Ric Flair is old, and he goes in the story about it that he had a jackass, and he loved that jackass, and then something happened to that jackass. And his dad took a gun and put it to that jackass's head and blew his brains out. And it was the best promo. I wish I could find it because I love it. And because it's his intensity and it's the way he tells that story and it goes on. It's a pretty long promo.
Yeah, he says jackass like 15 times in that interview.
So do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I hadn't been able to find that one either.
Oh my God, that's oh geez, when I saw that, I was just like, because I just saw it recent, like in the past few years.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I didn't I watched when I was really little, and then I quit watching like around 5th grade. Like I was Rock and Roll Express and all that stuff, and then I didn't watch in high school, so I was kind of choppy with what I watched. But I was just, that was the best promo I've ever seen in my entire life. And it was just so good. And that whole thing he did with Ric Flair, was fantastic. And he was a great hardcore wrestler, but he was also just a really good wrestler. And intense and just, his ECW stuff was very violent and very good. But yeah, he was a super, and I love the movie Roadhouse, because I love Patrick Swayze, and that, God, he's so good in that. It's just, he was one of those truly talented in every aspect of his life, you know.
He was. And Paul Heyman put him over strong in the history of ECW DVD. He said that at that time, like a lot of the old timers were trying to hold on to whatever they had and not really help the young guys that much. And he was like, Terry Funk came into ECW and he was like, oh, I can do something with that guy. I can do something with that guy. Oh, I could definitely do something with that guy. And he was like real gung-ho about getting the next generation ready. He understood that that was part of his responsibility, you know, as being a, you know, successful former world champion and all that stuff. And right now, as I explained earlier, I was having computer issues. I am frantically trying to get logged into my Twitter account. Twitter, stop asking me so many questions.
I mean, because I did watch him in ECW at the time. So like I came back into wrestling at that time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he was just, you know, I don't know. Like I said, he was good in everything he did. If you haven't seen him in Roadhouse, you should watch it. So
yeah, well, that picture on the bottom right is Roadhouse. That's from Roadhouse. All right, let me see if I can find. All right, let's show you some. Yeah, here we go. All right, let me stop sharing because I gotta get this queued up. I don't know if I'm gonna get in copyright trouble for this. I really don't give a shit. We're paying tribute to one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. So if you don't like it, YouTube, I guess, just give me a thing and I'll trim it out. But I don't know. Let me see. I want to show you Terry in his younger days.
is this when he's jacked?
I don't know if I call it jacked, but this is in the 1979. This is
oh my God, he looks just like his
Just like his daddy.
just like him.
Yeah, this is him in Japan fighting Abdullah the Butcher, and he was.
Oh, those punches!
I know.
Yeah, they look so good.
Yeah. Well, Mick Foley in his book explained why Terry Funk's punches look so good.
Because they were so good, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's why his punches look so good. Okay.
Yeah, look at that. They're both busted wide open. Just, you know, looks like Terry's trying to work on his legs, set him up for the spinning toe hold. Oh, Terry's got Abdullah's blood all over his face.
Yeah.
And his spinning toe hold was so good because like so many people like later on, like their spinning toe hold, it just looked like they were dancing around the ankle, you know, like it would just be real fast and just didn't look good at all.
Look at this. Now this is gruesome
like
right here.
Break your leg.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, just blood pouring out of his leg. Look, here comes the hospital people, you know, the medical staff. Oh, look at that. He's sticking at Brian. I think you've had a round or two with Abdullah's fork before.
Yes.
So, but yeah, and now he's biting it. And my leg. I wish I could play the sound for you, but I'm not going to because it's just a lot of screaming and yelling. Let's see here.
Yeah, I found some video where he's like, I guess when he had another thing with Ric Flair, and he's like jacked. So like that was the name of the video. Like
this is probably the one I'm going to get pop copyright for, but I think you guys will like this. I remember where I was at. I was on vacation with my family in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but I got sunburned that day. And so I stayed in the house that night because I just was in pain and watched WCW on TBS. And here's an interview. Excuse me. Here's an interview Terry did with Jim Ross up to the Ric Flair match at the Great American Bash. Can you see it?
Yes,
he's always done like really creative promos like that. You know, I've seen some where he's on the ranch cutting promos on people, and he always makes them very interesting. And yeah, that's just one example.
I always love that one.
Yeah, I mean, he really, not only was he great in all aspects of the actual physical wrestling business, but he had to get the gab for the stick too.
Oh, he sure did.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I wish I could find that Jackass promo. I looked and looked. And
I
looked.
know where it's at, but I can't tell you exactly where it's at. If you go onto Peacock and go under World Championship Wrestling and go into 1989, whatever season that is, and you're gonna have to search the one. It'll be after Wrestle War, sometime, because I think the last episode is June 15th. But that promo is on there somewhere in the May or June episodes. It's on one of those
I'll have
episodes.
to look because
So,
I loved it. It was so good.
well, he did another one where he spoke with Jim Ross at another episode of WCW, and he talked about it. He used the word jackass, but it wasn't the same one you're talking about, because I was looking long and hard because I wanted to share that one too. But I did find one that's really good. It's titled Terry Funk's Beautiful Dream. And I'm probably going to get popped for copyright on this one too, but that's all right. I'm going to keep the screen kind of small, most importantly, because this picture's not that good, but you'll love the interview itself. Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
All right, let me put some sound on it, and here we go.
Awesome.
That was my first exposure to Terry Funk. Like Reagan was in 1989, and I remember I asked my dad, I was like, well, man, they saying he's a former world champion, he's really good. And my dad goes, yeah, he's kind of crazy though. And so, but one of the things I remember, and you can also find this on Peacock, somewhere in the early days of Mid-Atlantic, 81, 82, it was right after Jimmy Valiant had come into the territory, and they were bringing in Terry Funk to wrestle him, and he cut a promo from the Double Cross Ranch, and he goes, Jimmy Valiant, you're from New York. Well, I'm from Texas, so I already don't like you because you're from New York. Hey, you know why I don't like people from New York? Because there's one thing that's true about New York. In New York, the men are men and so are the women.
I remember that one, yeah. Oh, Lord.
And it came back to Jimmy Valiant, and he was furious. It was like, say it to my face. I think I might have found your Jackass promo right now. Hang on, I gotta watch an ad first. Yeah, okay. But NFL Sunday tickets now on YouTube TV. Yeah, we all know. Let's see. I gotta check it first. No, let's.
Riveting podcast.
Yeah, riveting.
Watch us this week. Now I know why our podcast, when they're looking for something, have that typing sound.
We'll see. That's the Ric Flair one we just watched. And he's got a match with Sting here. I know I can't show that. Yeah, no, that's not the Jackass promo. It's just a longer version of the Ric Flair whoa promo we just saw with a fight with Sting afterwards. So, but yeah, Terry was awesome, man, and his work in ECW was impeccable. He had a near disaster happen one night in the ECW arena in 1994. Everybody talks about it, where he asked for one of the fans in the front row, said, "Give me a chair," and everybody started throwing chairs in the ring. And that's that famous footage, you see all the chairs go in the ring. That was not intentional, not the first one anyway, but yeah. So any other memories of Terry Funk? We'll go around, and does anybody want to share?
I mean, if anybody was a historian of Terry Funk, that would be one Lewis Moore. He could sit there and tell you all grades of story. Well, him and Matt Houston, but those are other stories. I just grew up watching him on TV, and I was always intrigued by him just by the way he was a real badass and had the attitude and everything. I won't necessarily say he personally influenced my career, but or had a direct impact on my career, no, but he did have an influence on it.
Mhm. Brian Reagan.
Yeah, he was definitely one of my favorites. Just from all the iterations of his career, he just stood out as somebody who was just just commanded that attention because of how good he was, both on the mic and in the ring. And there's just so few people like him who have that combination. And again, he's one of those people that you could tell his heart was in it, and that's what he was out there for, was for the fans. And you could see that in somebody, in the way they present themselves, both on the mic and in the ring, never phoning it in, and always just giving it everything they got, because they love what they do. And that just really shone through with Terry Funk.
He also looked real good in a tux. I mean, like he I just had this image in my head of when he would wear the tux and he had that big long silver earring.
Yes, that was like when he was at Wrestle War before he attacked Flair.
Yes, that's exactly. I know that was the beginning of it. And if you can find that promo that he gives that night too, and just he was just.
And I just remember that whole setup where you had the judges, and some of the judges were former NWA champions, and the fact that the attack just came out of nowhere, and that setup was just amazing.
Yeah,
that the way he had full intentions, that you just thought he was a judge, just like the other wrestlers there, but he had the full intention of getting a shot at the world title, and knew exactly how to do it, and he got it.
Yeah, it was shocking. That's for sure.
Greatest champion.
I think I've got it here. This is another one we're probably going to get popped for copyright, but we'll take a look at it. And then I'm going to show you one more Terry Funk clip. Can you see the YouTube thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, oh wait, I might have to reset this thing on. Then I want to show you something that maybe it is not well known, but I ran across by accident just a couple of weeks ago before he passed away, that I thought was some of the greatest Terry Funk footage I ever saw. But since we were talking about this, let's take a look and a listen to when Terry Funk attacked Ric Flair after he had just won the world title.
You better hurry up and take that money Excel screen down.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
It's pretty blurry. I could,
and the important information was blacked out. So
okay, good. And snap into. Okay, so now we should be able to see Flair. All right,
yes,
Funk magic.
He was, and that
he just played it so perfectly. Just that, just acting like a bumbling idiot, and Jim Ross and Flair is like kind of uncomfortable and being like, okay, Terry, thanks for judging and all, but we have a top 10 and we have our contenders. Oh, I was just kidding around. Let's just shake
Bam. And they showed that, if you guys remember that, they showed that every week on WCW TV, and until the pay-per-view got here, and they had their big blow off. And it's still considered amongst wrestling podcasters and historians to this day, the Great American Bash 1989 pay-per-view is considered by one of the best pay-per-views of all time. And I went back and watched it recently, just a few weeks ago, and it still holds up, man. I still think it's entertaining as fuck to this day. They had Flair and Funk on top. They had a War Games match, Luger and Steamboat. I can't remember what else was on it. Cornette and Paul Heyman in the Tuxedo Street fight. And I can't remember, just a ton of other stuff. But now here's one that maybe you hadn't seen. I don't know, Brian, you're a pretty hardcore historian. like me, you may have seen this or run across it, but I don't think that many people or a general viewing audience have run across this ditty yet from Terry Funk's introduction into the WWE in the 80s. Check this out. All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. This is Terry Funk's debut, mind you. All right. Check this out.
I think that's just about the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Man, that's so good.
Yeah, and it's even better now that Mel Phillips turned out to be a pedophile. So
Is that the woman ref that got paid off?
it may have been, but I'm not sure. I could identify her in 1986, but I don't know if she was that. That was 84, I believe.
Oh, but yeah, he was. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I love how Vince McMahon, when Mel Phillips puts the hat on, he laughs and then Funk jerks him into the ring, and Vince is like, "Oh no!" And then you hear right near the end of that, did you hear Bruno go, "Well, Terry Funk's kind of got a reputation for this sort of thing." Like Bruno wasn't surprised.
Bruno's probably thinking like me, like, what's that guy think he's doing?
Yeah, I've heard of this guy.
Come on, you just don't put on a man's hat.
No.
So,
not unless you're a stripper.
yeah, but then you're just doing it to get tips. So
So
there's always exceptions to the rule, but
yeah, well,
normally,
stripper or not, if somebody else puts their hat on my head, it's going in the trash can. So I don't cotton to that either. You should never put on another man's hat. But anyway, thank you, Terry Funk, man. You're going to live on in so many millions of people's memories. You're never really going to die. That's why I always encourage people, don't ever refer to those who passed away in the past tense. Always talk about them like they're still alive. Keep their memories alive. And it's easier said than done, believe me. But Terry Funk was crazy. No, Terry Funk is crazy and always will be. So thank you, Terry. The world's not going to be the same without you, but boy, you left an impression, and people are going to be enjoying Terry Funk's antics for years and years and years and years to come, at least until the grid breaks and we don't have the internet anymore. We're going to enjoy it till then anyway. All right. And last on the list, and possibly the saddest because he was so young, Wyndham Rotunda.
Right. Yeah. That's what makes this all the more tragic than all the other losses, because it's hard to say anybody's except maybe Bob Barker died at 99. You can't really anybody say they're going too soon, but this one's definitely hard.
And
he was so young.
And the thing too, not about that, like I found out about it because Annie sent me a message, and she was talking about her son, that he is like Bray Wyatt was his favorite wrestler, like favorite. And she's like he has all his action figures, t-shirts, and some kind of super crazy mask. And she was at the point, she's like, I don't even think I'm gonna tell him because he's gonna be so upset. So I mean, like, not only was Bray Wyatt so young, like he was in the spotlight now. Wasn't like, and I'm not like, this sounds like I'm diminishing anybody dying like any other time, but like it's the same thing that happened with the bearded guy. I've been hit in the head too many times, so my memory is terrible. The guy behind him in the picture that died in AEW, Brody. What did he go by?
Brody Lee, Luke Harper.
Lee.
He was Luke
Yes.
Harper.
Luke Harper.
Oh my God, my head! I swear it's because I've been hit in the head too many times.
I couldn't think of it either.
But like like they both died while they were in their prime.
Yep.
And we haven't really seen that as recently, I think. And it's just heartbreaking, like to be so young, to have such a young family. Oh, and of course, like the and that's this year too with like Jay Briscoe. Was it Jay Briscoe? Is he the one that passed? Yeah. And
well, that was a car wreck. I mean,
but still, it's like, but yeah, so it's just, I don't know, heartbreaking, because like not only does my heart break for him, my heart breaks for all of his fans. I mean, for that universe, for the WWE universe, for the people that work with him, and it's just, it's just heartbreaking because he is, especially for somebody who is a WWE fan, like Annie's family is. That's something, they watch it every week. They've gone to the shows. That Annie said that they met him and he was like super nice and was really great with her son and like was just a really great guy. And it's just heartbreaking.
It is.
From all the things I've seen on Twitter and online, people just talking about how genuinely nice he was to everybody in the back, no matter what level they were on. There was somebody who is a current wrestler in WWE, but at the time he was an extra just in the back and was really nervous, and they said that Bray Wyatt had come up to him and was just being really nice to him, and it made him feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, he was so popular, and when they cut him in those cuts, I mean, there were so many people that were just so furious about it.
I was one of them.
And and like I didn't watch a lot, but like his intro, like was just, it's one of the best it's just one of the best intros in wrestling. And just it's just he was such a force, and I was watching it during his first run more. And that broken back crawl that he did was, I don't know what he called it.
It's like the Exorcist spider crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was so creepy. And every gimmick he had, because like another thing I follow is Tom Savini. Tom Savini is a special effects on lots of movies. He made the mask for The Fiend.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know who
so,
Tom Savini is, though.
Yeah, and so like he was talking, like I follow him, and he was talking about what an honor it was to make that mask and how great Bray Wyatt was and just, or is, and just so I followed that gimmick more through watching Tom Savini make the mask and stuff for him. So it's just, it's heartbreaking when it's somebody that is I feel like I'm repeating myself, who is so young, who's still in the spotlight, who's still a superstar, because like I said, he's in your house at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, and let's also point out now he's a third generation wrestler. For those of you who don't know, he is Blackjack Mulligan's grandson. He is Mike Rotunda, IRS's son, and he's got a brother that wrestles, Taylor, he's called Bo Dallas. We hadn't seen him on TV in a while either. See, and
his uncle is Barry Windham.
Yeah, his uncle is Barry Windham. And so I saw an interview with him years ago. I think he may have still been in NXT at the time, where the guy was asking him, did you ever think that you would do anything besides wrestle? And he was like, no, from the earliest point of my childhood that I can remember, I knew this is what I was going to do for a living. And so he was charismatic. I remember the way it was in 2013 when he debuted on Raw. I wasn't even really watching Raw regularly at the time, but I saw something on what's the name of that website? Bleacher Report. And the guy was just raving about the Wyatt family and how creepy they were and all that kind of stuff. And so I clicked on the video and saw his entrance, with the lantern and blowing out the lantern and the way they came to the ring and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, holy crap, man, this is like giving me Undertaker type creep vibes, What's this guy all about? And started watching wrestling again, and he became my favorite wrestler really quickly. And I hated it so bad when he got cut, but then they brought him back, and I thought like everything was a little weird when he came back, but at least he wasn't doing the Fiend anymore. Although I thought the Fiend was cool. I was glad that he was showing his face again and doing like real promos and not the Firefly Funhouse. Wasn't my favorite thing. It was okay, but he wrestled LA Knight at the Royal Rumble, and you guys may remember us covering that. Remember how it was like sponsored by Mountain Dew, and they had the weird neon lights over the ring.
Oh yeah.
Everything was, that was his last match. And so, and then he went away. I'd heard that he was hurt, and then I heard that he was sick. But then I want to say 3-4 weeks ago, I saw something on Twitter where they said, hey, after a long recovery and everything, Bray Wyatt's on the way back. He's doing better. And then they announced that he passed away. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Are you kidding me? And he's only 36 years old.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw how young he was to have made the impact that he's made on wrestling at such a young age. And the thing about what a lot of people don't understand is when you do this kind of creepy, scary type of gimmick, it can easily turn campy and ridiculous. Like, just look at Kevin Sullivan and the Dungeon of Doom. Like, that was just complete nonsense. He thought that was so scary. And Kevin Sullivan in the past had been genuinely scary. Like, he had done things early on that were really freaking people out and was doing things the right way. But even somebody who has done it successfully the right way in the past can just completely screw it up.
Yeah.
But Bray Wyatt, he did it just perfectly. I mean, just that perfect balance of
a lot of people,
you know, and yeah, he just did it right. And because when I first saw him, like, kind of scoffing, well, let's see if he can pull this off. And it was like, whoa, yeah, this is exactly what he needs to be doing, and he's doing it the exact right way.
Yeah, I always said that you got to watch some wrestlers like that are really dangerous, because when he came into WWE, it seemed like they were just more intent on hurting people than winning titles. And then the next thing you know, he won the WWF championship or WWE championship. And we're like, okay.
And what a lot of people probably don't realize is the majority of Bray Wyatt's promos that he cut on people. I mean, they were so good and everything else, but a lot of his promos were off the script and stuff that he just ad-libbed and done himself, like right there on the spot.
Yeah, and you could tell. That's the thing is, you could tell that it was ad-libbed on the spot, because there's just something about that spontaneity that just adds so much to it, that if it were scripted, it just wouldn't work, at least not in that type of setting.
No. And he brought a lot of passion to the character. I feel like when they done away with the Wyatt family and then come back and transitioned into the Theme and Firefly and all that, I think that was just sort of a slap in the face to what he truly was when he was in with the Wyatt family.
The thing about the Fiend was a lot of that happened during the pandemic. And I have to agree, I'm in full agreement with Jim Cornette that Randy Orton setting him on fire and burning him to death in the ring during the pandemic era was about the stupidest shit I've ever seen on wrestling. And that kind of killed it for me. But when he came back, I think he won coming out of the pandemic is when he beat Seth Rollins as the Fiend, but he beat Seth Rollins and won the title for the second time in Saudi Arabia. And he came back, he was doing the Firefly Funhouse, but it was like they had just, I guess, because of the pandemic and the way that things had to go. I stopped watching wrestling altogether during the pandemic because studio wrestling with no people is just fucking terrible to me. And I mean,
Yeah.
AEW tried to do at Daly's place and allow a few people in, you know, scattered about, but that was bad too. You know, it's just like with no audience, it's just, I told Jinky it was no good. I'd watch the pay-per-views on Peacock just to keep up with what was going on, but no, the pandemic was not a good time for wrestling.
No.
No, anyway, go easy, Bray Wyatt. We will miss you. Hell of a damn run. It was short, but
Yes, indeed.
man, caused a lot of damage, hurt a lot of people in a short career. So
Yeah.
and damn near beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. So good for him. All right, now let's gotta pay some bills now. And we'll do that real quick. Premier Auto Detailing, hands down the best car cleaning service in town. They could do all kinds of car detailing work for you. If it's a personal vehicle, you know, that, you've had out sitting up on blocks, but you finally got that new transmission in it after 15 years and got it running, got wheels on it now, and you're ready to take it to town and show it off to all the girls. Well, you call it Premier Auto Detailing. They can help you get that thing cleaned up and get all those spiders out from under it. You call 336-883-5722 for more information. And also, not only can they do individual jobs for you, if you have a commercial fleet, say you own a car lot or you have a bunch of trucks that, like you do logging or something like that, and you have those type of vehicles, you have a fleet that needs service, and they can help you with that as well. All you got to do is call them up, 336-883-5722. 336-883-5722 for more information. Best car cleaning service in town. They operate in the Mount Airy, Surry County area, but if you need them to come out a little further, I'm sure they will be willing to work with you if the price is right. There's a Bob Barker nod right there.
Now that breaks my heart.
But Tees Creations, custom apparel. They can do any type of custom t-shirt, hoodie, sweatshirt. They do all kinds of other stuff. They have tumblers, they do the front license plates. You can visit them at teescreations22.com. They also made some beautiful AIWF Network shirts that our staff was wearing around there and Deal with the Steel that I and my wife are going to get versions of come next show, I believe. teescreations22.com. You can look up Tees Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook, or you can look up Tees Creations on TikTok, where they do live sales like twice a week on there. And sometimes our very own Rick Diesel crashes those parties and joins them. So Tees Creations, go check them out. And if you need custom jobs, like for a little league team or family reunion or something like that, man, this is the place you need to go to get that done affordably. Tees Creations, visit them, teescreations22.com, and reach out to them on Facebook and TikTok as well. If you'd like to join this zany cast of characters and advertise with us, we're putting a headlock on high advertising prices, only $10 a month. Get you a read just like you heard. And if you'd like us to produce a video commercial, we can do that for as low as $30 a month or $6 a week for the read, $20 for the video commercial. So if you got something you need to put over like a yard sale or something like that, just for 1 week, we'd be glad to help you with that. It's only going to set you back $6. And you can reach out to us at AIWF20@hotmail.com. Not only does the show air on Facebook live on Sunday night, it also goes up on YouTube. It also will end up on Roku sometimes, and you can hear the audio version just about anywhere you find your podcasts. So yeah, so thank you for all of our sponsors, and be sure to tell them when you go visit them that you heard about them on AIWF Ringside Wrestling. All right, so we're another week out from Deal with the Steel and had time to decompress and think about things and all that kind of stuff. One of the things that I was amazed by, and I say he's got ice water running through his veins, is one Ironhead Matt Anderson. I want to show you some footage that happened right after his match. Now, keep in mind, we have a new Mid-Atlantic television champion. Playboy Alex Bryant won the title for Matt Anderson to Deal with the Steel. Let's take a look here. I want to show you this clip right here. This is right after the match ended. This is what kind of guy Matt Anderson is. Took the belt from the referee, hands it to him. You'll see he shakes his hand, holds his hand up. Good sportsman. Now watch closely. Yeah. And I can't tell what he's saying to him, but it didn't look like best wishes. You ain't going to be seeing me no more. It looked like to me, I don't know, Brian. It looked like to me he was telling him, I'm coming back after that.
More than likely that probably is what he's saying. But at the same time, but you could tell he was doing it in a respectful way, because he returned the fist bump afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Anderson held onto that TV title for a very long time and defended it at almost every event. So he has nothing to be ashamed of losing that title to such a good competitor like Alex Bryant. He had that fire, he had that intensity and that focus. He wanted that title, and he went in that cage and got it.
He sure did. And the thing I talk about Matt Anderson, and you can go back to our preview show if you don't believe me. Matt Anderson has ice water running through his veins, because I was doing the fan cam the night he lost the title to Gorilla Q, and he rolls out from under the ring and looked at me and went, that's all right, and just walked away. And I remember thinking, oh, that's kind of an unusual reaction, and then he came back a couple of weeks later and won it right back at the anniversary show. So to me, he's got ice water running through his veins, because I don't know. I know you were preparing for your match, Brian, but right after he lost that match, like, we get ready. I don't know if there was another match or we broke for intermission right after that, but he comes right back out to ringside just a few minutes after losing the title and is selling souvenirs. And he's got these new keychains that he's so excited about selling, to show for the fans with these custom keychains, Ironhead Matt Anderson on them. And his mind had already moved away from the title loss, and he's like focused on the future. They say it about NFL quarterbacks. You have to have a short memory, right? If you throw an interception, you got to move on. But as far as a wrestler goes, I was stunned by how quickly Matt Anderson's mind shifted gears. And he's like, oh, well, the match is over. Let's sell some souvenirs. Hey, kids, look at this.
Well, maybe, it could be that he's ready to move on to another title.
Yeah.
He could have already made that decision. It's like, now that I've lost the TV title, it's time for me to go after, I don't know, I'm not in his brain, but, it could be that. It could be like, that's his stepping stone. That was his first step. And now he's going to go up those stairs and up that ladder and go after another title, whether it be a Mid-Atlantic title or the AIWF as a whole, a title. So who knows what we're going to see from Matt Anderson over the next few months.
I don't know, but there's never a title safe when he's around, because he's been he was tag team champions with Sebastian Kane for a while. And he's held on to that TV title, seemed like forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's no telling.
And then he also had the tag titles with Gorilla Q.
That's right, the Hodgepodge team. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's definitely no stranger to titles here in the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. So it may just be one of those things where he's like, oh, I mean, I've lost titles before, and I've also won titles. So, and yeah, you're right. It probably it's going to affect different wrestlers in different ways. It's never easy losing a title, even though in the back of your mind, that with the level of competition in the AIWF Mid-Atlantic, you're just biding your time, and it's only a matter of time before that night one of your opponents is going to be the better man. So even if you could beat that guy on another night, it could be that's his night, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, who knows? Matt Anderson, along with everybody else in that locker room, knows just how prestigious that TV title is.
I mean, and really,
you have that Huh?
Go ahead.
I said, because they know if you have that TV title, you're getting a lot of exposure because it is what it is. It's a TV title. It's defended on TV a whole lot.
Your matches are
And
going to be seen more places than anybody else's.
Well, and that
Exactly.
title is put up more often. You're having more TV title matches than you have heavyweight champion matches,
Yes.
tag matches. I mean, that is one that is consistently put on the line. I mean, and some people will be like, it's just a TV title, but really it has the most road wear of any title.
Yeah, it's one of the
exactly.
to hold on to because it's defended so often. That was the point of a TV champion, was to defend the title on TV on a consistent basis.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, okay, just like when he lost it to Gorilla Q, and then he turned around and won it right back. He may be in that same mind frame. Well, I know that belt's got to be defended a whole lot. It was just his night. Guess what? I can come back and take it from him just as easy as he took it from me. So
and he could.
Yep. He could, but you also got to remember too that that television division and all them people running for that competition's a whole lot steeper now.
Yeah,
he's going to have to keep that in the front of his mind too.
Yeah, certainly is. One more title, and that we pretty much announced everything. And guess what? The AIWF Deal with the Steel will be coming out on Roku very soon. We hope it should be coming out pretty soon. Because
I believe it's being worked on right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as like episodes of the Mid-Atlantic show leading up to Deal with the Steel, I think we're getting down to it. It should be in the next few weeks that it comes out. But one thing that we did not get to touch on last week, because we were so busy talking about Tim's groin injury, was and subsequent head injury, but was we have a new AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Champion. Jada Stone, the Spark, defeated the Mighty Clara, and I'm going to show you just a snippet of this, just to whet your appetite. Make sure you go to Roku and check out the entire show when it comes out. But this is just the end of the match right after Jada had pinned Clara. And look at the excitement. The crowd's going crazy. I cannot ever remember seeing Clara lose a match. I know it's happened before because I've seen where she'd be up for titles in other places and not come back with them, and I know Jada Stone had beat her in other promotions before, but look at that. Jada Stone, the brand new AIWF Mid-Atlantic Women's Champion. They call her the Spark for a good reason, because she is dynamite. Thoughts?
She is definitely a spark plug, that's for sure.
Yep.
This sounds really stupid, but I really like her. I liked her snapmare out of the corner because she does like a cartwheel with it.
Mm-hmm.
So the finesse she puts on her moves are just superstar quality.
Yeah, she's got that snap to them, and if you know what I'm talking, if you know, you know. And so Jada Stone is the new Mid-Atlantic Women's Champion. Clara's going for the World Championship, but I don't know how safe. I know Clara was really attached to that title,
right? And I'm sure she wanted to go into that tournament with the Mid-Atlantic Women's title, and going into the tournament without it, going into the tournament with a big loss like that is definitely going to hinder her in that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully for her sake, she can get her wits back together and be able to get it out of her head, that loss. And not only that loss, but the crumbling of the Fighters Club. That's definitely going to also weigh heavily on her mind as well.
Yeah,
the Fighters Club left in disarray, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did. And I don't know, man. David Parrish looks like he's awfully friendly with the Black Society now. So it wouldn't be I wouldn't be shocked at all if David Parrish is hanging out with them when we come back for the big September 2nd ROKU taping. Again, that's next Saturday night, or this coming Saturday night.
Yep.
This Saturday.
Labor Day weekend, Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. We're going to film like 3 episodes. And so you'll want to be there because there's no telling what'll happen. I'm personally looking. I was not at the show that he was at, but recently somebody has returned to AIWF Mid-Atlantic that I'm really stoked about seeing again and hopefully on a regular basis. One Dangerous Corey Edsel.
Oh yeah.
And when I saw him, and the first thing he did was, start giving Darren a bunch of shit about his music and demanded a match with Ty Tyson. I thought, boy, some things never change. And so if we
they call him Dangerous E for a reason.
Yeah.
He's definitely a dangerous man. He's violent. He has all the tools. Technical wrestler, hardcore. He can do it all. And and the only thing is, the only reason he doesn't his status in Mid-Atlantic isn't higher than it already is because he hasn't put his focus into AIWF Mid-Atlantic. If he starts coming to AIWF Mid-Atlantic events on a regular basis, then in no time he will definitely be a top contender in a short amount of time.
And the other thing is he's so agile. Like he has slimmed down way down from the beginning. But even if you go back 10, 15 years, his standing moonsault was better than some 90 pounders I've seen.
Yeah. And let's be honest, at one time he was up around 400-pound mark, I'd say easy, but Corey Edsel has always been tremendously agile, just absolutely incredible. Right. And so, if he puts his, I agree 100%, Brian, if he puts his focus on the Mid-Atlantic area, it's going to be bad news for a lot of people. They're going to.
Exactly right.
Yep. So, but anyway, so Corey Edsel coming back. Let me do this real quick and go ahead and finish out our sponsorship reads for the evening, and then we'll talk some more. Let's see. Okay, can you see the screens? We got branch management we're talking about now. What a great sponsor. They've been with us since almost the beginning. They operate basically landscape and general contracting business. You can just hedges need trimming, or you just need the grass cut, general landscaping work, or you're looking to find out something that you want to plant this fall, new bushes, trees, shrubbery, that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't know this, but we try to tell you every week, you should never plant during the summertime. You always plant during the fall, because if you try to plant this time of year, the sun's just going to cook whatever young plant you're trying to get in the ground. They can do pressure washing, gutter cleaning as well. And if you would like to find out more about the services that branch management provides, you can give them a call at 336-648-2487. That's 336-648-2487. That's branch management for all your landscaping needs. And last but not least, our most delicious sponsor, Tees Treats. Locally owned food truck based in Mount Airy. Great pizza, delicious dogs, decadent desserts. They feature mini donuts. You can call them at 336-755-8204, 336-755-8204. And this is usually where I say, hey, Rick Diesel, where's Tees Treats going to be this week? But if the weather's proving anything right now, he's stuck in the Charlotte airport. So anyway, comments about Tees Treats. I love their hot dogs and their hot dog chili. They're just the greatest to me. But the pizza's good too. But my favorite are the hot dogs. Let's go around the room. Kevin Stryker, what's your favorite thing off of Tees Treats?
Man, I love a good barbecue and slaw sandwich. And they have some of the best off of Tees Treats trucks.
All right. The barbecue sandwich. How about you, Reagan?
Good Lord. I don't know if okay. Well, best funnel cake. I am a huge like festival person. I go lots of festivals. I go Autumn Leaves Festival, like festivals around here, everywhere. So I eat a lot of funnel cakes, and she has the best funnel cake I've ever had in my entire life. And her deep fried cheesecake and her chicken tenders. Now, I had chicken tenders at the fair, and they are, first of all, they're about the size of a regular breast of chicken. And they're so good. So I don't get to eat there as much as I was when I was just watching the show. So I'm happy for people that get to eat it whenever they want.
I don't think they have a single thing on that menu that just doesn't scream scrumptious.
Yeah,
absolutely. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, mine's the chicken tenders. Yeah, that has to be my favorite. That with some honey mustard. You just can't beat it.
Not bad. So check out T's Treats anytime you come to AIWF Mid-Atlantic Live, or you can give them a call at the phone number that we just gave you, and find out where they're going to be in your area. T's Treats. Yummy. It's real good. All right. Well, so we've talked about the passing of the wrestlers, the goings on at Deal with the Steel. And I don't really know. I'm looking into the future, and I really don't know what to expect next Saturday night, or this coming Saturday night in Mount Airy.
Yeah,
I mean, I can tell you what to expect.
So
go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say that that people really need. I know that a lot of people, there were a lot of people there at Deal with the Steel, and it's very a lot of things were resolved at Deal with the Steel, but there's a lot of things that weren't resolved at Deal with the Steel. Like I'm sure Joe Harrison is not through with Mickey Fulp. I'm sure the rivalry between them, I'm sure he's not happy with the fact that he lost that matchup without saying I quit. But I agree with Mickey Fulp that the referee made the right call. He was no longer able to continue, so he wouldn't have been able to say I quit even if he wanted to.
Yeah,
you can't have a match with an unconscious opponent. So the referee did make the right call by saying that Mickey Fulp won the match. However, I'm sure Joe Harrison is not going to be content with that loss, and he's going to want a measure of revenge against Mickey. And I'm curious to see. We keep talking about the crumbling of the Fighters Club. I'm interested to see what's going to happen after the fallout. Is there going to be any kind of alliance? Is it simply going to be a tag team with Azrael and Jack, or is it's really hard to say what's going to happen from that, and just to see what new things are going to come after Deal with the Steel,
because we also have to deal with the fallout of Pretty Boy Lane and Buddy Flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something we have not discussed. We have not discussed who that third person ended up being that was attacking Buddy Flowers.
It was Pretty Boy Lane all along. I do not understand that whatsoever. It seems like Pretty Boy Lane just joined up with the higher calling, and now he's already stuck a knife in somebody's back. I guess a leopard can't change his spots. Pretty Boy Lane's a snake in the grass. He always has been, and he always will be, it looks like.
And Case and Kane was also, and he wasn't at Deal with the Steel. So there's this whole new dynamic that we're going to have to see, like, what was Case and Kane's, what did Case and Kane have to do with this? Like, what was his ultimate, what did he want from this? Why did he orchestrate this? Did Seth Burns orchestrate it? Did Pretty Boy Lane? Like, who is the person who came up with this plan? Are they Are they always going to be working together? Were they just working together to take out Buddy Flowers and to take out THC? Like, there's more questions than answers from that reveal.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, and so the only way to find out is come be with us Saturday, September the 2nd. It's Veterans Park. $9 for the floor, $6 for the bleachers. Brought to you by King's Hot Dog. Bell times at 7:30 p.m. At least that's what it's listed as. We usually say 7:30 ish, because the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
7:30
and
-ish.
also another thing, if you're happy with the bleacher seating, which like we say, there's not a bad seat in the house, go to the AIWF Mid Atlantic Facebook, and there's free tickets for the
That's right.
bleacher
Yes.
seats.
That's right.
So
Yep.
anybody that doesn't want the floor seating, just go to the Mid-Atlantic Facebook, and I believe you can print them out, or you can simply show the
Put
picture.
them on your cell phone.
All you have to do, just go to the Mid-Atlantic page, show them the picture of the ticket, and you'll get a free bleacher seat.
That's
Kevin,
right.
are you in a closet now?
No, I'm actually standing outside
Okay.
using a security camera as lighting because it got dark and it's kind of loud in my house.
Looked like you were in a closet. I was like, poor Kevin's having to shove himself in a closet.
Poor Kevin, he's in the closet. You need to come out, Kevin. You're causing
Well, one of these days
undue
he just
stress.
might, but it won't be today.
You're gonna give yourself a stroke or a heart attack. It's undue stress. Come on out.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah.
But no, I was going to add on to the whole fact that when we were talking about coming out to our live ROKU tapings and stuff like that, a lot of people, they see, okay, when they have their big pay-per-views on TV and then they try to watch a regular show the night after or whatever, it feels like they don't have the same pizzazz and spunk as what the build up to the big show was. But whenever you come to an AIWF event, it doesn't matter what big show we're building up to. Even the action following the big show is just as hot. So come on out and join us.
And
Yeah.
I was excited to see, like, scanning the crowd for Deal with the Steel. We had a lot of people that saw us at the fair show.
Yes.
They came and they helped tear the house down that night with everything. So we are getting a lot of new faces, which I'm really happy to see. Hopefully we can get them, coming back more and more and more, because I do think we are the best organization around.
Mhm.
Yes.
Talking about how we just ended Deal with the Steel. Fright Night is just a couple of months away, so
Yeah.
And
I think it's
that's
gonna
another
happen.
thing for you there, sir, Mr. Hardcore King of Fright Night and everything else. I'm interested to see is in how my broadcast partner is going to react and be acting whenever he comes back to the table.
Who, Bobby?
I don't know. We'll have to see about that.
I was gonna ask you, Brian. Do you have any-
I pretty much got it out of my system. As far as I wanted, like I said, I wanted to have the one more match, and
Right.
I knew how to do it, and I did it. And so, like I said, as far as in the ring, I'm done. Now I've been. I'm not going to talk too much about it because still in some. Still, I've got some things working in my head that we'll see whether or not it comes to fruition. But as far as competing in the ring, Brian Danzig is done. I left my boots in the middle of the ring. I take that very seriously. I'm not going to break that tradition and get back in the ring after I did that.
I wanted to show.
Much love and respect always.
I thought about showing that clip tonight, but I want to save it because it is such a special moment. But we will see that at some point on this program. I was going to ask you, Brian. I'd been thinking about it all week, but I just forgot throughout the course of the show because we had to cover so much of the bad news. But were you planning now that you and Ty Tyson have got all the bad blood on the cage, on the floor of the Veterans Park, on the ring apron? Yeah, come on out, kids. You'll show you all Ty Tyson and Brian's bad blood that's left on the ring canvas Saturday night. But now that you got the bad blood out, do you have the itch to go back to the broadcast booth? Because you're certainly real good at that.
I do. Yes. I love when I was doing it. And, and at the time I knew that it wasn't going to be possible for me to do that and compete in a match at the same time. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't feasible. But like I said, that, my wrestling career is done. So I think my broadcast career can resume now.
Awesome. Well, that's great because it's always good to have that perspective. I can tell you from doing play-by-play for so many years, when you're doing play-by-play, it makes it so much easier when you got a wrestler with you in the broadcast booth, somebody who's been in the ring, who's been in the wars, who knows what's going on in it or has a general idea of what's going on in the competitors' heads to explain it to the people. Because most of us, have never even stepped foot in a wrestling ring, much less been, punched in the face by somebody in a wrestling ring or suplexed or hit with a chair or been put through a damn table. Thank God. Or slammed on barbed wire.
Matt, are you kind of subsequently volunteering yourself for all of that now?
Absolutely.
Are you saying you want those experiences?
I will say, as from a production standpoint, Sergeant Stryker did a really excellent job jumping in and taking that position a little bit. That was
carrying the missing part.
Yeah, carrying the missing part and stuff, and that was greatly appreciated from the production side of the AIWF.
Because we were without Bobby for a little while I was gone. So
yeah, I mean, it was there and do that, and it was an honor for me to sit there and call Brian's last match on the play-by-play. I just hope that with all the production and everything I done, AIWF Mid-Atlantic Deal with the Steel 2023 justice with not only your match, Brian, but with all the matches that was so hot and spectacular that night.
Well, we're going to find out when it goes up on Roku. That's for damn sure. No pressure.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
No, from what I've heard of your play-by-play so far, it's been fine. So I don't have any doubt that it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And I would have told him if it sucked too. So
probably.
I'm pretty hateful. So
yeah.
Well, you need to be in a position like that because, like, if you come out of the box and you're sluggish and you're lagging or whatever, it a good director or producer is going to come up to be like, hey, you sound like you'd rather be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Would you mind acting like you're enjoying this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, that's me. I mean, when I get out there, I put my raw emotion into my commentary. I mean, when you see me, oh my God, and screaming and hollering, that's just raw emotion of me enjoying what I see in a ring and just letting it go, trying to get the fans riled up and letting them know that, hey, if it makes a broadcaster jump out of its seat, why can't it make us jump out of our seats too? So
so be sure you join us, fans. So you never know what's going to happen. And remember, and this is what happened last year. Everybody said, oh, well, I can miss the next one. Deal with the Steel. That's the big show of the year. I can miss the next one. And what happened at the show? Do y'all remember what happened at the show after Deal with the Steel last year? Jack won the Mid-Atlantic title.
Yep.
So, don't be full. Don't think
don't sleep on these tapings. Yeah, we do big things.
Yeah,
we don't do Joe Schmo against our guys and one competitive match. We do. Yeah, it's anytime you come see the AIWF Mid-Atlantic live, we're going to put on a top tier show every single time. So
Yep.
you want to, whether it's a TV taping, a big show, you want to come out and see it and experience it live.
Yeah.
One thing I think AIWF is good at is being unpredictable.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
It's not like, because a lot of people watch wrestling nowadays and they're like, well, the titles only change hands at the TV tapings. Yeah, well, that's partially because if you go to a live event, they may have 1 or 2 title matches on there, but they defend the titles more on TV now, and they do so many more TV tapings. We are still old school in the fact that you need to come to the live events, even though this is a ROKU taping. There'll be some stuff that we don't show on, that we do for the live event.
And
that's another reason to come to the TV tapings. Not all of the matches are filmed for TV.
Yeah,
there's usually a match at the end of the night that's a special treat just for the live audience that isn't going to be shown on TV.
Yep. But I will probably film it just to show clips on here and be like, oh, look what you missed.
Yeah, but if you want to see the match in its entirety,
yep.
It's again it's a special treat for the fans who've come to see it live.
Yeah, so don't put in mind like it's a standard. Like, number one, we try to do like an old school territory thing, like anything can happen at any live event. But the way we are not like an old school territory is if you come to the TV matches, like Brian said, it's not going to be one of the stars against Joe Smo, and he picks him up and drops it. Yeah, it's going to drop him on his head a couple of times and beat him.
Yeah, it's not going to be Jimmy Garvin go in there and beat him before he even gets his sequin tights off, brain buster him before he even takes off the sequin jacket and pins him in 10 seconds. Yeah, you're not more than likely you're not going to see that. We're going to try to avoid that if at all possible.
Yeah, sometimes it happens though.
Right, it does happen sometimes, but we're going to try to vet the competitors and make sure that they're going to put up a fight.
Yeah, and you should be on the lookout for a lot of. There's one guy that I've seen recently. I think we should take a minute. There's some new people coming into the area, and I think the guy's name he wears green and black tights. I think his name is Channing Steele.
Oh yeah,
man. Like, you guys fans, pay attention to this motherfucker because he's out of the School of Morton, is my understanding.
Yep.
And he's put together, man. You can tell he's still young, but like you could tell he invests the time in the gym, man, and he moves around that ring like real light. Like, I mean, he's got speed, natural speed. That the more he works this, I can see big things.
I don't know how old he is, but he seems really young. And trained at the School of Morton by Ricky Morton, and he's got the look, and he's got the ability. So you want to come out and see everybody, but you definitely want to get your eyes on this guy. I could see him going far in his wrestling career.
Oh, yeah.
I told Darren, I was like, I think he actually listens to Ricky too. By the way, is there any other young stars that have just caught your eye that you've seen in the last, during July while I was away? Or
no joke, Aaron Wilson.
Yes,
somebody to watch. I think he's somebody to watch. He's relatively new, but every time I see him in the ring, he gets better and better. And so he's on my radar to watch and to see where he goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing him more often, hopefully. So
what were those brothers that were that came to us? 3 of them. Gosh. I know, I can't remember.
Allen Brothers.
The Allen Brothers.
Allen Brothers.
Look out for them. So a lot of young new superstars coming our way out of these training camps, and we're glad to have them. They can get some seasoning with us, and we can find out what they can do. So a lot of things moving and shaking and happening in the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. So don't think you could skip a couple of shows and wait till it gets closer to Fright Night, because you might just see.
Exactly. You'll miss out on a lot if you do.
Yeah, you could be missing watching the next John Cena wrestle for you, and you only had to scan a free ticket off the internet to get in and see it.
Exactly.
10 years from now, you
More
could
than
be
likely get a picture with them for free.
yeah.
They're going to paying a bunch of money for a convention, and then paying to get your picture with them, standing in a long line.
Yeah.
Get them while they're here. Get them while they get first started out.
Yep. And a message once again, I'm not going to go on a profanity laden tirade, but remember, AIWF affiliates, this is your platform. We talk about the Mid-Atlantic because we don't get really any participations from the other promotions, save for a couple of examples. Ring Wars Carolina's good. You know, they'll come on every now and then. But if you want to promote your shows, that's what we're here for. Just send me a message on Facebook Messenger. Send me your poster. I'll put it up on the screen just like I did ours. No free advertising if you're an AIWF affiliate. You don't have to go through Matt Classic. You don't have to go through Rick Diesel. You come right to me. Facebook Messenger Matt Carter. Now, if you can't get in touch with me, you can send it to anybody on this panel. You can send it to Rick Diesel. We will, if you send it to us, we will get it on the air and give you free publicity. So there it is. Free advertising for AIWF affiliates.
Please. I mean,
All right, guys.
Please let us advertise your events.
Yes, but you have to send it to
as Bill Holiday, you say for free.
well, free. So be sure you bring the passes and get yourself in free to this Saturday night, because wrestling's awesome, but free wrestling's even better. So make sure you take advantage of that. Final thoughts.
Right, guys, I got a couple of girls that I gotta get to the house real quick before their mama has a shit fit. So
okay,
I'm going to sign off here for tonight, and I just want to say thank y'all so much for the love and of my broadcasting, and for allowing Sergeant Stryker to be once again back on the panel on time this time for once, almost. Almost.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I love y'all guys. Y'all have a good night. Strike hard, strike fast, and we'll see you September 2nd.
All right. Take care, Sergeant Stryker. Play-by-play man, wrestler, play-by-play man, all that other stuff. He's still hanging on because he wants to.
Well, yeah, if you came to the fair show, you'd seen him one more time.
Yeah, that's right. He wrestled at the fair show. But anyway, Sergeant Stryker getting out of here. I was about to ask you guys for final thoughts, because I think we're about done here, unless there's something else you guys want to bring up.
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
No, we're good to go.
Be honest.
This final thought, just just coming, like I said, just coming up. This next event going to be the beginning to the road to Fright Night, and you're not going to want to miss one event from then until the end of October. So definitely want to come out to all the shows that you can, especially, I mean, the free ones. I mean, why not? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's free.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to do, just come on down. Just give us a chance, and we'll hook you. We'll hook you like we did that group of boys from the fair show.
Yeah, we ought to call them, like, give them a name like the Fair Squad or something. Like that.
Yeah.
But and so affiliates advertise. We'll put your show on, plug your show for nothing here. You don't have to go to the expense of starting up your own podcast.
Like you said,
we got
Matt,
that covered.
Set a time aside and come on the show and promote your event. Come on at 8:00, and we'll you can plug your event, show a clip, and then
leave.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay for the whole thing. We know that we're all long-winded.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. You can just pop in and pop out.
Yep. No, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So with all the passing of all the wrestlers, I'd just like to tell you folks something. When I went to the Philippines, I was kind of walking around Makati, and it made you realize something. Life goes on without you, and everybody, when we're gone, people are going to carry on just like they always do. And when I came back home, and I was watching the AIWF Mid-Atlantic. The show will go on without, it just keeps going. It keeps struggling. It's chugging along. Now you think, say, Matt, that's kind of depressing or whatever. No, I'm just telling you, take advantage and try to, get out and live life the best you can and enjoy the moments you have with your loved ones, your friends, because you don't know. I mean, look, Terry Funk lived to be a good aged old man. Bray Wyatt passes away when he's 36, so take advantage of the time you have, easier said than done. We're all guilty of pissing away moments of our lives. We all do it, especially in front of the TV, and so, cause I'm going to go in there and watch football right now. So the message I'm delivering to you is don't waste time like I'm about to, just try to.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with just, because Reagan, sometimes she'll be like, we're so boring. We just sit at home and watch TV. I'm like, well, what the hell does everybody else do?
Until they found out at my new job what I do on the weekends.
Oh no, you
I
should have
brought
told
the
them.
house down.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you talking about? We're part of a professional wrestling promotion, and I've been in a band, and we've done all this interesting stuff. You just don't do it every day. It's not all the time, but but even if you're not somebody who likes to perform and do things, just go out and see things that you like. If you like wrestling, go watch wrestling. Go watch it live. If you like racing, go watch racing live.
Yes.
Go to the movies. Go to go to a play. Just whatever. Like you said, life is short. And
get out of the house.
Yeah, get out of the house. When you come home from work, sit and watch TV and relax. But on the weekends or your day off, go out and do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't go along with that. If you like auto racing, go in person. Because I don't know, I can't tell people enough. NASCAR is not the same in person as it is on TV. It's a whole nother world, brother. All this sweet, squeaky clean family stuff that you see on TV, it's different when you go in person. It's drunken mayhem. Now, and what's best about anything, like any live sporting event, but I think racing's especially because racing is done on such a big playing field. You're not restricted by the camera. You can look anywhere you want, and
you might get hit by a tire.
Well, yeah, but that's why you sit high up.
I'm just saying, life is short. If you're gonna go out that way.
See, she's saying that because it happened in what was it? The movie where the death would systematically kill off the teenagers. Final Destination.
Final Destination.
That happened in a Final Destination movie.
Oh, did it? I've never.
Yes, but it was based off of something that really happened at the Charlotte Motor Speedway at an IndyCar race back in '99.
Yeah, I followed. That's when I was following racing and stuff, and wore the shirts and everything. I have to say, I was a Jeff Gordon fan, which is pathetic.
Oh, I'm sure you weren't popular around here.
I think I eventually switched over to Earnhardt, but in my younger days, I was a Jeff Gordon. I believe I had a sticker on my tracker.
All the young people had, all the young fans at the time, were the younger fans were Jeff Gordon fans. I don't know. I didn't know what to think of Jeff Gordon because here we got people like Earnhardt and Bobby Allison and Richard Petty, and then here comes this clean cut guy, and he plays video games, and it's just not like your image of a race car driver at the time. It was just something brand new. Now they're
now they have lots of pretty boys.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon's he's retired now. And even now, Joey Logano, he's 29 years old, but he's been racing in a Cup Series since he was 19, and we call him a crusty old bastard. He's not even 30 years old yet. So, oh man. But anyway, so yeah, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We'll see you next Saturday night at the show. Hope you join us. Bring those signs. Get yourself on TV, and then we'll be right back here next Sunday night. And hopefully Rick Diesel will be back from Cauliflower Alley. with some pictures and wild tales of the goings on Fremont Street in Las Vegas. If you've never been, I encourage you to go, because you'll never forget the sights and sounds of Fremont Street as long as you live. It's great. So for Brian and Reagan, Sergeant Kevin Stryker, I'm Mad Matt Carter. We'll see you next week, wrestling fans. And until next time, so long for now.